Hello and welcome to Who Watches Who, a Doctor Who podcast with me, Matthew, and as always, I am joined with...
Hello, it's Scott, and we are back for more Doctor Who. Hell yeah.
Yeah, more Doctor Who as the 60th anniversary celebration continues with another episode from any season of Doctor Who. But it was really good, it was really fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. Yay! I thought this was way better than last week's episode.
So did I. And
By like a significant amount.
by a significant amount, you just mean half a star.
Yeah.
Because that's how you rated it on Letterboxd. It still does not feel like the 60th anniversary. This episode was very good, but something's lacking. It feels weird.
Yeah. Yeah, but as far as like spooky episodes go, this is the spookiest Doctor Who we've had in ages.
Oh yeah.
And by spooky, I mean like kind of spooky and then immediately silly. Immediately very silly and goofy.
Yeah,
but it was very fun.
That's good old Doctor Who for you, Phil.
Yeah, and like we'll just break it down bit by bit, I guess. At this point, you know, as we get into more discussion with this episode, but the opening part I felt was so like disconnected from every other part of the episode and so disconnected from the last episode. I was like, this is like a random skit that is happening. I don't understand why we needed that random skit. Why doesn't the TARDIS just go straight into the spaceship? Why does it break down, land in a tree, then go away, then break down again?
It's the longest wait for a punchline I've ever seen, because later on in the episode, the Doctor kind of acknowledges that history has changed and now gravity is called mavity. Insane.
Yeah, it's very strange, but it was a very silly opening to, which I guess sets the tone kind of for this episode. But the rest of the episode is like, it's a different kind of silly, you know, where that's just silly, like haha, silly jokes. This was like goofy, look at my cartoonish arms silly. This was absurd silly, and I loved it. I loved it so much. It was great.
Yeah, we should say this is a very controversial opening of the episode by some lunatics.
The most controversial opening of all time ever. Doctor Who is ruined forever. This opening has completely destroyed Doctor Who.
But yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, Isaac Newton is here and he is brown, and that's a big controversy because in real life, he was white. And in real life, did he know this? But in real life, he didn't actually meet Doctor Who. Did you know this?
I don't believe you because I just watched it happen on TV. So,
but yeah,
you've been disproven.
Like every fucking controversy in Doctor Who recently, this is insane. It's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, I just don't have any energy for it. I straight up don't care. If you are a person that wants to waste your time on Twitter being like, I can't believe that the opening skit to an episode of Doctor Who wasn't 1000% historically accurate, like, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
Oh,
like,
God.
Move on. There is bigger things. There is bigger things in life than being upset at Doctor Who. I don't understand how anyone can have that much energy for something so fucking stupid.
And of course, Isaac Newton is kind of tied up into another controversy of this episode, a bit of a less controversy where the Doctor and Donna later on are talking about him, and Donna's like, he was hot, wasn't he? And then the Doctor's like, yes, he was very hot. And people are upset, but the Doctor is now gay, even though Jodie Whittaker's Doctor was gay. Like,
but these people weren't watching Doctor Who when Jodie was the Doctor. That they are only like griping up because it's like, oh, this isn't a Doctor Who that I know, or they're pure trolls that are just capitalizing on the show's momentum again, because nobody was complaining or people were definitely complaining, but nobody was like getting up in arms when Jodie was being all gay. You know,
Yeah.
nobody gave a shit because nobody was watching. Actually, people did give a shit. People were like, they have no chemistry though. Where this is out of nowhere. This has come out of the blue. Nobody was upset at the gay part. It was just the handling of everything was terrible.
But yeah, in my head, canon, the Doctor is always he's asexual and also like pansexual, if you know what I mean. He has an interest in sex, but he's a romantic kind of guy. You know,
I've always viewed it as like the same way that the Doctor's personality will change when he regenerates. Why the fuck would his sexuality? He's a different identity, so why would he, like, surely each incarnation would be into something different, you know, because they are essentially different people. So I've never even fucking blinked twice at, oh wait, the Doctor's gay now. Be like, okay, sure, this version of the Doctor's gay, who gives a shit? Like,
but you know,
they're a creature beyond gender, surely. Like
this was set up in like what people considered to be like the last Doctor Who episode. You know, in 2017, this was when Doctor Who died. In The Doctor Falls, the episode before it, the Doctor's like, oh, I had a man crush on the Master back in the day, and also I can change genders. Like, that's what the Doctor basically says in that final episode, and people are like, yeah, this wasn't woke at all. But when the Doctor does change gender, suddenly it's woke. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't give a shit. The culture war stuff is entirely fake and in people's heads. It's all in people's heads, and they're all fucking insane. Just don't have the energy for it. But some fun stuff in this episode. I thought...
Going back to Isaac Newton.
Oh my fuck! I don't give a shit about the woke stuff.
No. But so the Doctor changes history to the point where gravity is now called Mavity. Do you think this is going to be a consistent change in the Whoniverse from now on?
No.
Do you think the Doctor is going to go back and try to convince Isaac Newton that gravity is a better name? Because I sometimes wonder if he has like a mental to-do list, like, oh, I have to go back and change history to where it was because Mavity is fucking stupid.
I almost wish that Doctor Who would keep the canon off Mavity, because it, like, you know, Doctor Who's canon is never ever consistent, but if it was to bring in a show like Rick and Morty, you know, if they changed it to Mavity, it would be Mavity in every episode, and it would just be a tiny thing that adds to the world, you know. I would love from now on, just like in the blue, out of the blue, you don't hear gravity for ages, and then someone says Mavity really fast, and you're not quite sure, was that Mavity or gravity? You know, that's all I want, or to see it written down on a screen somewhere when they're in like a lab.
It's kind of kind of like the whole Hollywood situation in BoJack Horseman.
Yeah, in BoJack, yeah.
Where it's just the canon of the show that Hollywood is now called Hollywood because BoJack Horseman steals the D.
Well, you know, it used to be called Hollywood Land, and then they got rid of the land bit, and so it just became Hollywood. So it makes sense canonically with that sign that people just change the name, because that sign determines it, not the other way around. You don't come up with the name and build the sign. The sign tells you what the name is, regardless of how many parts fall off.
But yeah, Isaac Wokton.
You're obsessed with this particular scenario. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about what those people think. One major complaint I have for this episode is the intro credits were so goddamn short. Didn't get a chance. I was so excited to be like, oh yes, I get to watch this intro again, and then it was over, and I was very sad.
Yeah, so let's see, it starts at about 2:14 and ends about 2:40. So that's a 30-second intro. Yeah, needs to be a minute long. You know, properly get into it.
I'm talking a full 5. A full 5 minutes, please, is what I need to enjoy that intro. I would like a full 5.
You want this to be like a HBO intro, like Westworld?
Yeah, I've never seen Westworld. I don't know what the intro is like, but yes, I want it. I would rather the Westworld intro played instead. That's what
The Westworld intro is like a solid 3 minutes long, and it is amazing. It's great. even when when the show's turns shit around season 2, it's the best part of the show, and you can just watch it all the time. It's fantastic. Best intro.
Yeah. I've never seen Westworld, and I probably never will.
Season 1 is very good.
I'm sure. Now, the opening of this episode, I thought, I kind of appreciate it more thinking back on it, but like with how methodical it was. It's a solid 10, 15 minutes? 15 minutes before? Maybe even longer. Holy shit, it's like 20 minutes. Yeah, it's like 20 minutes before things start getting weird in this episode.
Yeah.
The first 20 minutes of this episode is the Doctor and Donna slowly walking around an empty ship, mumbling to each other, and it was great. I was like, holy shit, nothing is happening in this episode, but it's kind of just chill. It's nice, it's quiet. It's such a different from the other episode, and right when I was getting bored, and I messaged you like, oh, I hope nothing is going to continue to happen in this episode, that's when the weird stuff started kicking in. And it was like, that was perfectly paced. Right as I was, my attention was dipping, it was like, oh no, here's the twist. Loved it.
Oh yeah, the first 20 odd minutes is just great, because I love the chemistry between David Tennant and Catherine Tate. It felt like no time has passed since 2008. It is amazing to see them back together again, and I'm just so interested in seeing what's going on between these two again. Donna tells the whole story about her music teacher, Mrs. Bean, and all that, which, funnily enough, ties in. I didn't expect it to tie in towards the end, but it does.
Oh yeah, especially that ending when the Doctor takes the wrong Donna. I was like, holy shit, and then reality kicked back in for me, where I was like, oh wait, hang on, no, never mind, she's definitely not gonna die, is she? The first episode we spend the entire episode getting Donna's brain back, and then the next episode we kill Donna. Fuck it. But there was a brief moment where I went, oh shit, and that's how it was fucking well written, because I had no idea. As soon as he chose that Donna, I was like, the Doctor's so smart, what a clever guy. The rug gets pulled out from under you. It's brilliant. It was a brilliant moment.
It kind of reminds me of the moment in The Enemy of the World, which we just covered earlier this year. It's a Patrick Troughton story, where Patrick Troughton has a doppelganger. At the end of the story, Jamie invites the salamander doppelganger into the TARDIS, and it's like a holy shit moment of, you let the wrong Doctor in, and then salamander gets dropped into a black hole, and the episode ends abruptly, but great episode.
It does, yeah, it does just suddenly end, but it does have that same sort of twist where the wrong one comes in. You were correct. That's cool.
But that little moment of Catherine Tate's acting as she's realizing, oh shit, I am going to die here. You left me behind. You picked the wrong one. Holy shit. Terrifying. And then, there's no apology from the Doctor, but he is shaken up about it. He just holds her and kisses her forehead. Holy shit, what an experience.
I loved it. I loved the little robot guy.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Little, fucking straight out of Hitchhikers.
Yeah, bro, Alan Rickman, little fucker, dude.
I was expecting him to have, they were marketing the entire episode around him. He's in the poster. He was the prop photo they kept putting out was that little robot guy when they were advertising it and the build up. And I was like, oh shit, he's finally here, and he does nothing. And that's kind of what makes him so brilliant, because that's the whole point of him, isn't it? Is he's just slowly walking down that hallway to blow up the ship. What an amazing idea. It's just a robot on a slow walk to its own death. Just brilliant. Aren't we all that robot, really? Aren't we all just slowly walking to the end of a bridge to die?
Yeah, I was expecting him to be a little depressed dude. I guess he kind of is a little depressed dude, but I was expecting a voice. But I guess that's the only thing you can really market the episode around, other than the Doctor and Donna, because...
Yeah, because the rest of the cast is David Tennant and Catherine Tate.
Which goes back to last week. We were talking about the 3 redacted cast members, and they just turned out to be David Tennant, Catherine Tate, and Bernard Cribbins. I think I guessed Ncuti Gatwa.
Yeah, that was on
Who
my
else
list.
did I guess? I guessed Billy Piper as Rose Tyler as a possibility, you know. Who else did I guess? Oh yeah, I
I don't
guessed
know.
Caroline Ford as Susan.
Oh yeah, I
Like,
remember. I remember your guesses.
but
Yeah.
you know,
So
if
you were 100% right.
I
Where did you get
know
your
that was
insider
crazy.
information from? Yeah, it was wild.
But you know, if
Um,
Susan isn't going to appear in the 60th anniversary, she's never going to appear again at all, is she? Like, I think.
there's always Christmas. There's always Christmas. I guess this. I really don't see her appearing at the Christmas special. Doesn't it feel? It would feel really sudden.
But, you know, she could pop up in one of the shitty Gatwa seasons, I suppose. It doesn't have to be an anniversary event.
What if Susan is the one getting attacked by goblins? What if Susan is in charge of the goblins?
That would be something, yeah. But
That'd be wild. Imagine you're watching this like mid to shit Christmas special about goblins, and then right at the end it's like, and Susan was in charge the whole time. You're like, oh, best episode ever.
Another thing that was in the marketing was a little people mover thing where David Tennant steps on the floor and a hole appears and the people mover comes up. And it's like, that's a dangerous design, because what if you walked on that by accident and he just walked across the hole and he fell?
Well, presumably you're on this spaceship because you've been trained how it works, so you wouldn't make that mistake. But, you know, who am I to say? How did you feel about this being a secret Spy Kids sequel at times?
Yeah, most of the shots look fine. You know, most of the shots look fine.
I think the most
yeah.
The worst shots are the hallway ones, because that's all green screen.
Yeah.
You know, whereas like when they're going through the spaceship and through things like that, those are actual physical sets. And we saw this on the behind the scenes as well, but the way they shot this bridge scene is it was just a bridge with green screen around it. And so you get this really like flat looking image, and it's honestly, it's beautiful. It was reminding me of Flux the entire time, and that's a wonderful transition. That's a wonderful transition to be what this episode really needs to be about, which is how this doesn't make sense with Flux. The Doctor's motivation canonically does not fit with the conclusion of Flux.
What the fuck is the conclusion to Flux? I completely forgot.
The conclusion to Flux is there isn't one. There is no conclusion. But I'm pretty sure that the universe is just completely destroyed except for Earth, and then the Doctor just is like, we won. What's this half the universe bullshit? I'm almost certain it's the entire universe.
Well, I guess one of us needs to go back and rewatch Flux to figure out if there's any inconsistencies.
I don't think there was any inconsistencies in that series. I think that was the best series of Doctor Who I've ever seen.
I am glad they touched upon it though, because it is nice to have continuity. You know, the Doctor's dealing with the aftershocks of what happened in Flux, with the whole timeless child stuff and the Flux stuff, and it kind of feels like the new Time War, where it gets referenced and the Doctor is clearly suffering from PTSD, but as I'm hoping that's as far as it goes. I hope we don't get a Flux 2. Big electric
we
blue
might
glue.
get I don't know, a Flux 2 would be an interesting like take on it, because what Russell did with the Doctor in this in regards to Flux is he gave the Doctor emotions towards it, where he's like, actually I'm sad Flux happened, rather than I'm going to genocide all the Daleks and Cybermen and then win. So I'm glad that he's like upset, and it's like scarred him, where he has all this regret. And also I think it turns the timeless child storyline, which everybody was shitting on, into a more interesting mystery. The way they approach this, when they're like, but you're not from Gallifrey, are you, Doctor? And the Doctor's like, oh shit, what the fuck do you mean? And I don't know, I mean, that's basically all that Chibnall wrote for his series, but maybe it's just I don't know, maybe it's just the way Russell forms those sentences makes it feel more like I kind of want to know more, sort of thing. But also I still roll my eyes because I'm like, oh fuck, the timeless child. But the idea that there's still this mystery to the Doctor, I think, is interesting, even
Yeah.
if there's not much mystery back, other than where did the Doctor actually come from, you know?
I just love the fact we get to see the Doctor actually react, where he's screaming about it. Like, that's an
He's
actual
bashing
reaction.
that gate. Yeah! Ah! It's great.
Whereas Jodie Whittaker,
acting, yeah.
Jodie Whittaker is like, I kind of feel awkward about this. I'm just going to go over here.
She's just going to stand there and her eyebrows won't move and she'll go, oh,
Which is a
bow,
shame.
bow.
Which is a shame because I really think Jodie Whittaker could have handled some of the more emotional stuff.
Oh, she's a really. I just watched her in Time, the BBC prison show thing, where she plays this like single mum who gets like arrested for doing something with her electric bill. I don't know. They keep calling it. I fiddled with the lecky, and I'm like, I have no fucking idea what that means.
Yeah, and then John Barrowman comes in a big, like a balloon bouncy ball for kind of thing.
He saves her.
Yeah.
But Jodie's really, really good in that series, and she has to play this really difficult, really emotional character, and you see her range in it. It's like, holy shit, this is more acting I've seen from Jodie than in years. I haven't seen her act like this in years. And it's just a shame that she had such shit with Doctor Who. But hey, Flux continues. Can't wait. Flux 2, baby.
Speaking of Jodie Whittaker, I think this might be the most insane episode since It Takes You Away.
The frog one.
Yeah, the frog
since
one.
Since the frog one, definitely. This is definitely one of the most absurd things in Doctor Who for sure.
Which I really like that episode. I like how insane it is. It also has a consciousness that's kind of like evil, but not kind of evil. You know what I mean? That could turn into anything as well.
Yeah.
Great episode.
Similar themes. It was another weird one for sure.
How do you feel about this episode being kept up in so many secrets, though? Because that did leave us with a lot of wild imaginations to what it could possibly be.
I was excited at first, but then as we got closer to it and they continued to hype it up and make it seem like it's the most insane, spectacular, like brilliant episode of Doctor Who ever conceived. Like you and I came to the same bit in the show where we were like, oh, they've overhyped this. It was one of the news shows where it's like it's never gonna live up to the expectations. And since I've had that in my head, I was like prepped going into this episode to be like, okay, it's not going to be anywhere like I thought it's going to be. It's never going to hit those heights. So I had really low expectations for this episode, but it still blew me away. It went in a direction I wasn't expecting, where I went, oh shit, this is insane. This is wild. This is cool. When those big ass long arms came out, it looked ace. Loved it.
And what I love about
weird ass visuals.
What I love about Russell D Davies is he's always got an answer to why he does certain things. Like he says he kept this episode a secret because it's such a simple story, Donna and the Doctor are on a secret spaceship and they encounter themselves. That's basically the whole story summed up. And if we found that out, we wouldn't be surprised. But, them saying this is the most groundbreaking and important episode of television ever. I had nightmares thinking about how I could film this. Left us with a lot of imaginations. I don't think we needed to be so strong with the whole groundbreaking element to it. It is kind of groundbreaking. I understand where we're coming from because, I haven't seen an episode of British television shot like this, where, you have giant actors encountering them. It's weird. It's a weird episode. It's got a lot of special effects,
It is a weird episode. Visually, the episode is insane. And I'm really curious as to what the general reaction to this episode would be, like the general public consensus, because like when was the last time you saw something this absurd on BBC One primetime TV? It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Like giant, like inflatable David Tennant crushed in a hallway. Who doesn't want more of that? That's incredible.
I kind of want them to do a sequel.
Yeah, although a sequel would never live up to it because that's the problem. It's such a simple story, isn't it? You know, what else can you do with it other than, oh, maybe there's more of them? It's less interesting, but it's just Among Us, really, isn't it? You're acting sus, Donna.
But yeah, the moment where Donna's like, "Oh yeah, my arm is long," and you just cut back to her arm on the floor, and you're like,
her arms being, you're like, her arms are long.
And what you texted me was amazing. And from then on, I just could not stop laughing throughout the episode. It's so funny. Like, the whole thing where it's like David Tennant is bending over backwards and his head is in between his knees, and he's making fun of Donna for being stupid, and he chases him out the room. Amazing.
Yeah, oh my god. It's fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous episode. Like, so goofy. Yeah, it was like a masterclass, though, because it was so ridiculous and so goofy, but I was never taken out of the drama.
Yeah.
There was never a minute where I was like, okay, you've gone too far with this. It's just, it continued where I was like, what the fuck this is mental. But it all fit in the tone of the episode. Nothing felt jarring or out of place. It was brilliant. It's just a great time.
And the thing is, there's not really too much to talk about in this episode, which is weird.
It's so fucking simple because nothing happens. They just go around the spaceship and they're like, "Wait, are you Donna?" And she's like, "Yeah," wink, and you're like, "Oh shit, what was the wink for?" That's the whole episode. It's brilliant.
the whole bit where Donna's like, "Oh yeah, if you're the Doctor, take off your tie," and then the tie vanishes because
that was so fucking smart. There's no object permanence.
And it just shows how far Donna has come as a character, that she's able to figure these kind of things out. She's so intelligent. Like, it's such a good little moment that you wouldn't get with characters like Yaz, who constantly forgets she's a police officer. You know?
Yeah. It's great. It's just great. I don't know what else to say other than I loved every moment of it.
There's really there's really nothing to talk about.
What do you
this
think?
Episode.
What did you think of the wolf scene?
I loved it, but I also have a lot of nitpicks about it. Firstly, the whole idea of the family are all hiding, and they just randomly let a 93-year-old man go out in the middle of the street on his own, where there's millions of people rioting, and also, why isn't he affected? I guess we'll find out next week, but he's not in next week's episode, sadly. So, it's weird. It's a weird cameo from Bernard Cribbins that I really like. It's really sweet.
I think it's always going to be a bit of a weird cameo because they didn't get to film the other stuff with him. Like, I imagine because like Russell T Davies said, they had other scenes, but they just never got the chance to film them, that those other scenes would go into that sort of thing of why he could be trusted by himself, why the thing's not affecting him, etc., etc. But instead, we just get this scene in isolation where he's just there, and it's just a, hey, look, Wilf exists sort of thing. But it's very sweet, and it was a really nice way to end the episode. Because I wasn't expecting Wilf to show up in this episode at all. I was fully expecting him to be in next week's episode, so this really made me go, "Oh shit, he's here!" and then go like, "Oh shit, no, he's here." And it was great. Great guy, loved him. Oh my god.
And for this to be his last work as an actor is really heartwarming, because it's just a scene where everybody fucking loves Bernard Cribbins. They just want to hug him. They just want to be near him. Like, everybody loves him. And that's the whole scene. And it's just perfect for him. He is, even in this brief little scene, he is just so good. He is just a huge smile on my face, and also just me trying to fight back the tears, you know?
Yeah, it's lovely.
My theory to why he is not affected is probably maybe it's like a mobile phone signal, like in Kingsman, you know? Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe. He doesn't have a mobile phone because he's an old man.
Yeah, could be. I honestly have no idea, and I wouldn't be bothered if they'd never address it. Like, I would be okay with it. Not having an explanation, but I guess we'll find out next week, and it turns out we're super wrong because he was like patient zero or something and could cure everybody, but I don't know. Yeah, no, it was great. It was lovely, and it was a lovely end to the episode, and I am so fucking hyped for next week's episode from that Next Time trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Shooty's here, baby. We are days away from seeing Shooty as the Doctor, and I am so goddamn excited. So goddamn excited.
Yeah,
oh my God.
It's crazy how short this episode is, mainly because it's just such a simple story, but we don't do these reactions as a beat by beat kind of thing that we usually do on the show, which I think maybe we could revisit this one in a few years' time. This is perfect for revisiting, I think. Once we find out more behind the scenes information and all that, this is such a brilliant episode
with
to
everything.
go over.
And when everything gets recontextualized, when we see the next week's episode, coming back and revisiting this, knowing where everything ended up, maybe we'll have a different opinion. Maybe we'll be like, they should have, I can't believe they didn't do this, blah, 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 or maybe we'll think it's the best because after this it was all downhill. Who knows? And maybe this was the peak. Maybe this is it. Maybe Doctor Who's never going to be good again.
Because we do have rumors circulating around that may or may not be true, and I'm kind of worried about that. But
We'll just see.
I'm going forward with an open mind,
We'll just see.
To kind of go back to the whole 60th anniversary, not kind of feeling like a 60th anniversary kind of thing. I'm kind of fine with it as long as these 3 specials are good, and we have had 2 good specials so far, so I can't complain too much. I'd rather have 2 episodes that are good that don't feel like a 60th anniversary special when a 60th anniversary special is absolute shit. So I can't complain.
Yeah, I guess I get where you're coming from. I don't mind the episodes being these smaller, self-contained stories, but at the same time, like, the 50th anniversary felt like an event.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like, oh, this is a big moment. Oh my God, the show's 50 years old. That's insane. And it felt like a celebration of all of Doctor Who. This 60th anniversary specials feel like a celebration of season 4 of Doctor Who. And Flux as well. We'll throw Flux in there. Fuck it, why not? And it doesn't feel like a celebration of the show. It feels just like, here's some more Doctor Who. So I completely get the opinion of not enjoying it for that reason. But at the same time, some nice episodes of Doctor Who, I'm not going to turn those down. Yum, yum.
This kind of... I'm still wondering what the reason is to bring back the Doctor and Donna, because obviously it's because Russell T Davies loves them both and wants to join in on the fun again, but there has to be a narrative purpose to it, and we don't really get that yet. We're 2 hours into a 3-hour story, technically. Nothing's really been answered. It kind of feels like the Big Finish 60th anniversary story, where there's a big overarching plot that kind of gets ignored. Like, what is going on? Why is the Doctor degenerating and all this shit? And none of it gets answered, but occasionally you'll get a good episode in the Big Finish audio drama 60th anniversary thing, whereas here it's like constantly a good story, so I'm not complaining too much.
And I'm most hyped. I am most excited for the Neil Patrick Harris episode. I cannot wait to see the toy maker. I cannot wait to see what they've fucking done with it. It looks insane. I can't wait for Shooty to show up. Oh my God, it's weird. I mean, it feels wrong to, like, when was the last time we had a positive thing to say about new Doctor Who episodes? It's been so long. Like, I guess we were positive on the whatever the fuck, what was it called? The Power of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Like, that was a fun episode. But, like, before that, Legend of Sea Devils, Eve of the Daleks, and then Flux, like, it's just misery. Just misery and doom and gloom, and now we can be like, oh, it's fun again. Woo.
Yeah, even the series 12 was a bit weak. Apart from, I guess, the Cyberman episode, the Frankenstein episode was the last time I felt properly good about watching Doctor Who, which was 3.5 years ago.
Yeah. Although, like, I'm gonna miss it being shit. Like, there's something about watching Doctor Who and just being like unreasonably upset at it.
Oh, bro,
that's what I crave. It's what I need to exist.
It's Russell T Davies. The man goes through, in my opinion, I've gone through a love-hate relationship with Russell T Davies. I sometimes hate his work, and then suddenly I watched it a few years later, and I love his work. It's hit and miss for Russell T Davies, so I imagine shit episodes ahead. Don't you worry.
I can't wait. I'd love some shit ones. That'd be great. Well, the next one's garbage.
If the rumors are true, the next one could
might be.
The next
episode
might be 2 hours long.
It could. Oh, Jesus Christ! 2 hours long. That'd be wild. I didn't know that. 2 hours long, and then I hope the ending's dog shit, and then the Christmas special's about goblins. So who fucking knows? I was having a discussion with a friend of mine. And we were just joking about the fact that the Christmas special is gonna have goblins in it. And I was like, but what if they are just straight up goblins? Like, what if canonically in Doctor Who, they're not aliens. They're just like, these guys are full on goblins. They live underground. They are with us now. Goblins exist. I'm really excited. I have so many questions about the fucking goblins, man.
I'd be fine if goblins existed. You know, they just came from Earth and they're just normal aliens, like the Silurians or the Sea Devils. You know?
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be one
Goblins
of those situations.
are among us.
I hope the Sea Devils come back because they're always brilliant in
They
episodes.
probably will.
I can't wait.
Yeah, the Sea Devils, always classics. Always knock out the park with the Sea Devils.
I think
never incoherent or really boring. No way.
I think my expectations for next week's episode is slightly lowered, but I am still excited. You know, I still think it's going to be a good episode, and I'm just curious about those rumors. I really want to find out if it's true or not. I'm kind of concerned.
I mean, only time will tell. Only time will tell. But I don't know. Have you got any other thoughts about this episode? I have none, other than I really fucking liked it. That's really all I've got.
It is such a great episode, you know. It's intense. It feels like Alien at times, you know. It's really cool, and I really love all the body horror elements. And it's funny that this whole story happens because Donna spills the coffee in the TARDIS.
Well, no, that's not why this story happens. Donna spills a coffee in the TARDIS, and then they go visit fucking Isaac Newton.
Yeah,
and
true.
then they fuck off again, and then something else happens and they crash, isn't it?
That brings me back to Isaac Newton. If you're the Doctor, right, and you land in 1666, and you're like, oh yeah, this is perfectly fine. There's no danger around here. We can hang out with Isaac Newton for a bit. Why not just leave a TARDIS and let the TARDIS do its thing wherever it's going?
Yeah, let the TARDIS repair itself.
Yeah, it'll eventually come back. We're in no danger here. We're completely fine. Why not just stay there? You know, rather than go into the wherever you want to go, because they could end up in a sun. You know, what happens if they wound up in the sun and they burned?
Maybe Isaac Newton is like a downer, you know, and maybe the Doctor knows this. Maybe he's like, oh, fucking not fucking Isaac Newton. This dude sucks. This guy's the worst. Oh, let's just.
But bro,
hey Isaac, okay, bye, okay, great, yeah. Oh, it's worth the risk you might fall into the sun because Isaac Newton is that much of a fucking dork to hang out with.
But bro, he is so fucking hot, and also he's a virgin, so he wants to fuck, I guess.
Yeah. But he could be you can be good looking and you can be I guess you could be a virgin as well. It doesn't really matter. But you could be good looking and shit like that. I'd still be really boring to hang out with. It goes beyond just looks, and the Doctor knows this. He's like, damn, you're really hot, but I know for a fact you suck. You're just bottom tier people. So I'm gonna bye.
But you know, he's pretty to look at. That's something. Good looking. That's all you need.
Yeah. I guess it works for some people.
I really can't believe Doctor Who turned woke, though. I am so mad and upset about it.
Yeah. Personally, I am outraged at all of the outrage at Doctor Who. And actually, just thinking about that gets me outraged at my own outrage at the outrage towards Doctor Who. So I'm gonna have to make several lengthy Twitter posts that I'm sure Russell T Davies will see and act accordingly, as he knows I am the true authority.
Because
on Doctor Who and the opinions that should be listened to.
Off screen, Mathew and I've been sharing a lot of angry opinions on X.com.
Yeah, I don't fucking use I don't fucking use X. What piece of shit is that?
It's so fucking funny to see all these disingenuous, dense motherfuckers actually get upset about a stupid fucking controversy. Like, what the fuck is going on? I do wonder what the fuck we're going to complain about next week. I guess we're going to complain about Shooty Gatwa being black,
sure.
right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. They'll complain about everything. Honestly, I'd be happier, or I'd be really surprised if they didn't complain. That would be wild. Yeah. They'd be like, what the fuck was wrong with this episode that they liked it, you know?
But, you know, one final thing is, the ratings for these episodes have been really good. Like, the first one got 5.08 million, and this one got, like, 4.8 million. That's really solid. Like, no drop-off at all. Like, 95% of the audience stuck with Doctor Who, because nobody gives a shit about this manufactured culture war. Like, all those people canceling Disney Plus and all that shit. Nobody actually gives a shit. Like, what the fuck are you wasting your time on?
Okay, so I have gone on to the Doctor Who forum that I like to visit every now and then when we are looking at new Doctor Who Gallifrey base. There's some really interesting opinions in the comments I want to read. But before I get there, what do you think is winning in the 1 to 10 scale on this forum?
I'm gonna guess
the public is saying.
I'm gonna guess 9, because all of the normal reactions to the episode have been either an 8 or a 9, like really positive shit.
Yeah, it has got 443 votes. It coming with 26.7% of the vote is number 8 out of 10. Okay. 9 out of 10 is second with 26.4 and 439 votes. It's literally a handful of votes separating 8 and 9 out of 10. So, you know, general opinion is fucking banger of an episode, pal. However, the comments will have you thinking otherwise. As we've got one comment here from Desmond Wolf. No wonder they didn't want anyone to see before it went out. Dun, dun, dun. There's a really lengthy one here that I want to read. 4 out of 10. Seriously disappointing. It'll take more than RTD's hyperbole to persuade me this wasn't just a below-average bottle episode. A filler, no guest cast, few sets, lots of running around with an opportunity to give some meaty character work for the leads. It was going to be great to get Tennant and Tate back again, but they appear to be the only decent things in both episodes so far. The show is eating itself. But the worst part of it was the announcer having the cheek to introduce the 60th episode as the 60th this episode is the 60th anniversary special. As a filler episode for a 13-ep run, this would have been just about passable. As one of the 3 60th anniversary specials, it was insulting. Which is an interesting opinion to have. I understand the criticism at the end of it not feeling like a 60th anniversary special. We went over that. The rest of the complaints, I don't fully get what he means by the show is eating itself. I don't fully understand what he means by no character work, because there was nothing but it was character work the fucking episode.
And also... one question is, do you count this as a bottle episode? Because I kind of don't. Yeah. Because one of the criteria to match a bottle episode would be, and this is just from Wikipedia, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a bottle episode is an inexpensively produced episode of a television series. This is expensive as fuck.
I guess this is... Okay, but... right...
Yeah, but it's
besides
typically
budget,
confined to
like-
one
like-
setting. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got all the
Yeah.
themes and the script of a bottle
Yeah.
episode. They just decided to bring out the fucking green screen. You know, you could have easily built a shit set and stuck them in it, and then that would have been a bottle episode. So you know, that's some nitpicking. But, yeah, I would consider it.
And
consider
also,
it a bottle
why
episode.
why is that user complaining about a fucking bottle episode? Like, one of the best episodes of a show is fucking Midnight. One of the best episodes ever of television. like Midnight, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, Midnight was a good episode of TV. I do like bottle episodes. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong. I don't have a bottle episode as a complaint at all. Some of my favorite episodes of TV shows tend to be the bottle episodes because I feel it gives you a chance to be more creative when you have less options.
Yeah.
Because you have to think, oh, what's something different I can do? I have all these characters and they can't leave this room. What the fuck is going to happen? Is way more interesting than no constraints. You can do whatever the fuck you like. Because then any idea works.
You know, it's kind of what I wanted in a Chibnall era at some point. You know, like all four characters in a room trying to solve a mystery or something, trying to get out, like an escape room. And give somebody character development, but instead of fucking separating everybody every episode and spreading them along different continents and different timelines, like, fuck off.
I mean, yeah, I can't complain against it, and it's one of the reasons why the haunting of the fucking Villa Diodati, it's so good because it has those small character beats and those everyone in a room solving a mystery sort of things, you know. But that's a different episode. We've covered that episode already. Go back and listen to our review on the haunting of fucking whatever the fuck that house is called. I don't remember. That's a good time. I have nothing else to say in regards to Wild Blue Yonder. Oh, yawn, so boring. There we go. I can justify the episode title.
Yeah. We came up with the episode title before we even saw the episode.
It's too good. I can't not use it. It's too good. Wild Blue Yonder? You kidding? Fucking 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Especially
Asking
with
for
David Tennant's jaw dropping on the floor.
Yeah, it's too good to not do. That's the thing. I have to do it.
but also that thing of like everybody talking about seeing the episode and thinking like, oh my god, this is the most amazing shit ever. You're not going to believe what happens. It's kind of, you know, I was rolling on the floor laughing, literally, you know. I was really enjoying that shit. I really enjoyed this episode.
That's a fucking mental image in my head of you doing that.
Like, I enjoy this episode. I do think it's really good.
For context, Scott is like over 6 foot tall, and the thought of him falling off his couch and rolling around on the floor in a fit of laughter is an insane image in my head.
Yeah, like a little child.
Yeah.
But yeah, this episode was very good. One of the best in a long time, but
yeah,
it's one of those things
definitely.
where it was overhyped and we let ourselves into a little trap, and I really hope they be more careful next time because I don't want it to happen again.
It happens all the time.
Matt Smith cameo next week.
I put money on Christopher Eccleston being in a starring role.
But bro,
on next week's episode.
Christopher Eccleston was already Davros a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know what we're referring to, the Children in Need sketch, The Independent, I believe it was, wrote an article about the Children in Need sketch with Davros, and they said that Christopher Eccleston came back as Davros. You know, it's Christopher Eccleston. It's clearly
Honestly,
Christopher Eccleston.
Everybody, I was amazed we all missed it. I was so distracted by everything else.
Actually, I'm going to Google
that. Amazing.
I'm going to see if I can find it. Independent.
I imagine it's been either altered or taken down
Doctor
at this
Who
point. It's been many weeks. If
That's
you find it,
funny.
I'll put the link in the description. If you find it, I'll put the link in the description.
Okay, challenge
not-
accepted.
In the meantime, no, I feel like we should wrap up this episode. So, thank you very much for listening to this extremely rambly episode
short
of our
episode.
reaction thoughts. Yeah, I mean we've managed to ramble almost to an hour, but thank you very much for putting up with our innate half-baked thoughts on an episode we really enjoyed. I'd be really interested into hearing what everybody else thought about it. Feel free to discuss with me in the comments what your opinions on it were. And I'll be sure to slap back with a funny quip like, "You suck!" So look forward to that. You can follow us on YouTube, Who Watches Who Pod, where you can subscribe and like and watch us in video form. Wow, look how beautiful we are. We are also on audio form on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify. We have an RSS link for whatever podcast app you choose. There's a bunch of links in the description for that as well. You can find us on Facebook at Who Watches Who, on x.com at WatchesDoctor if you want to harass Scott. I don't use it. I shout out again to Slovenia. We are fucking top notch. And the Philippines, was it? Where was the other one? We appeared somewhere else on the charts recently. Let me pull it up. Taiwan.
And France.
And France as well, of course. Love France, love Taiwan, love especially Slovenia, new favorite country. Thank you very much. It's very cool to appear in charts suddenly, out of nowhere, in random countries. Brilliant.
Yeah, spread us around to your friends and tell them how much we suck, because we weren't coherent at all in this episode.
This is the worst podcast I've ever heard. You've got to listen to this.
I think this is our worst reaction episode since we did the Legends of the Sea Devils, and we had no idea what we could talk about. I think we talked about the episode for like 15 minutes. That episode.
Well, Scott. Personally, I was enjoying this podcast episode until you decided to absolutely shit on it. I was thinking, what a fun listen this will be. But yeah, you were like, "Fucking, this is we sucked tonight. We were off form. This was bad. Worst episode ever. No one's gonna listen."
I don't think
this
is
ruined my night.
This isn't the worst episode ever. This is a half good episode. My half was amazing. Your half needs improvement.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna cut this from the episode. I don't need to put up with your shit, right? Anyway, we will see you at some point next week as we conclude the 60th anniversary with the episode known as The Giggle. Crazy that we are here.
We waited over a year for this trilogy of episodes, and it's almost gone. Like, what the fuck?
And it's,
crazy.
And it's almost done.
Oh, theory. I wonder if David Tennant is going to be in the entire episode next week, because they are being very revealing about Ncuti Gatwa being in the episode. What if David Tennant regenerates 40 minutes into the episode and Ncuti Gatwa is the last 20 minutes? It would be amazing. It would be interesting. It'd be a surprise.
It'd be really cool. It'd be really cool. I'd be okay with that. I'd fucking love that. That'd be cool. Yeah. We will see. Bye, I guess.
Bye.
Bye.